And one of the best parts about the conference, I have to say, one of the most enjoyable times has been the worship, has it not?
Definitely the worship. Oh
we
my
had
gosh,
a great time. This morning, Shane and Shane were actually with us. They led worship, and it was, again, a powerful time. And Brady Toops sat down with them this afternoon and asked them a few questions and interviewed them just about their heart for this generation. And so we're going to go to that video right now.
So take it away, Brady.
Hey, here we are with Shane and Shane in the studio. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking some time to just sit down with us. We're going to talk to you for a while. So for those who don't know you guys, you are Shane Bernard.
Yes.
And Shane Everett.
Yes.
And so do you guys, people who call your names, do they call you Shane or what do they call you? How do they keep you apart?
A lot of people think it's really funny to just kind of walk up to us or come up behind us and go, "Hey, Shane." And then they go, because we both look every time.
Kind of look alike.
You know, because our names are both Shane, and they like to do that.
It's like a little old, a little bit.
Yeah, it gets a little. It's kind of funny.
That's funny.
It's funny, kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
In a funny sort of way.
Tell me a little bit about your story. For people who don't know you, you guys grew up in Texas.
I did, yeah.
You did.
Yeah. I kind of grew up on the West Coast and landed in Texas, and then went to a couple of colleges and landed at Texas A&M in College Station, Texas. Like later in college, the last.
So is that kind of where you got your start in worship and worship leading and the whole process?
Yeah. Well, sort of. I mean, I led in. I became a Christian late in high school and led in a basement with 6 guys for. In high school, and then kind of continued that in a living room in college, and that's kind of, I guess, where I got my start. Music had nothing to do with my background. I came from a family who didn't know God and really had no creativity in my family, so music just wasn't there. But we had an old prop guitar, and I learned 4 chords and 7 songs, and we sang them over and over and over for 6 years. And
wow.
And that's where, I learned a lot. The Lord taught me a lot about
so
music.
Everybody sees you guys on the front stage in front of thousands of people now. But you're saying this all began in the secret place. It began with just a couple of friends crying out to God, getting an authentic cry, and just to worship Him.
Yeah.
And so the Lord, in the midst of people, in this secret place, He's brought you guys forth, to lead our generation in a heart of worship. So you guys have been here at the OneThing conference for how many years now?
Is this the third?
This is the third year.
I think it's the third year.
Third year.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
So why do you guys keep coming back here?
Man.
We love it. Every time Shane B gets, when we have time off, me and my wife go home and hang out. But he comes to Kansas City. And he goes and he hangs out at the House of Prayer and with those guys. He loves it. It's a great spiritual retreat for him, for sure. But
I just really love to be around radical people. Because I really want to be. I know that there's these places in my heart that aren't radical, and I want them to be. It almost seems like when I read Scripture, I'm like, oh my gosh, to be this radical is almost impossible. And I like to just come and sit before the Lord and even have conversations with a people who aren't perfect at all, but just really, really wanting to pursue Him wholeheartedly and not be divided.
So you have a David heart. You have a one thing I desire, Psalm 27:4, to gaze upon your beauty. That's so cool. So kind of wrapping up, for the viewers at home, maybe there's some kids growing up and they see you guys and their heart is to be a worshiper, to be a worship leader. Can you just talk to the camera for a second and give them some advice on how to pursue a life of worship, how to get, on the journey, some practical things?
Yeah, I think if you're interested in, I guess every believer's interested in being a worshiper. And I know that some people have a desire to do that with music and to lead in that. But, exclusively sitting before the Lord. in the quiet place and asking Him to satisfy you in the morning, to make your heart happy in God. I mean, leading worship out of any other place is just hard. And so we get asked all the time, how can we do it? How can we do what you do? How can we do what you do? And I just really encourage you to search your heart and ask Him if your desire is really to have the approval of man, or really to have the approval of God. When I'm reading through Scripture and I see things that lines that say God sees the proud man from afar, I don't want to be seen from afar. And so just be before the Lord, and He'll make you happy there. And to the spot where it's like, it doesn't matter what I do. God, open a door for me to be able to be a part of your move. If that's in front of 6 people in a basement, that's awesome. If that's on a stage in front of 1,000 people, that's awesome. But it doesn't matter because it's God's work. God's working 6 people and God's working 1,000 people. It's still very important because it's still God's work, and it's His temple that He's building, and it's beautiful. So just stay before God, and don't be in a hurry to leave Him. Stay before the Lord.
That's awesome. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This is your latest CD, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Shane and Shane, An Evening with Shane and Shane. You can check this one out, or I think you guys have a bunch of other ones. Where can they get your CDs at?
ShaneandShane.com.
Or
ShaneandShane.com.
iTunes.
Your local Christian bookstore.
Yeah, and then some like regular stores too. Best Buy, Walmart.
Cool. Well, hey, check it out. Thanks so much for being with us, and we'll see you later.